obviously we talked about last week the receivers, and this week we did a good job of getting our guys involved. Obviously, well, I'll name one guy, Justin Ross, a guy I've been barking for for pretty much all off season. JD, I think you get annoyed sometimes how much I bring up Justin Ross, so I try to sneak him into a topic. Um, but hey, he came out, had that one great grab, had two drops, but he came in and looked great. 10 different guys caught a pass today. I just think that's amazing how we're spreading it around and just look like everyone, we're just getting everybody involved. And I love that Ross getting it. Watson had an amazing grab, which probably the catch of the year so far in Kansas City, at least from our plays and stuff. But what do you make of what you saw from the pass catch today? They've been under the microscope. Everyone's saying, "Oh, the Chiefs are." Let's take a pause on the Chiefs. They don't have a receiver over there, and it showed today that we have the depth in the room, and showed everyone stepped up today. Yeah, a few drops here and there, but like for the most part, what did you think of what you saw from the wide receiver group?
I think they did a great job. I think the young guys came in and stepped up like they should have. I think they kind of came in. Justin Ross. I mean, what about that guy coming in and make a catch up top? You're talking about his length and his athletic ability, and then all of a sudden he displays it. It's like, well, how come we haven't been doing this before? That's the question. And then obviously, Rashid Rice making the touchdown and him able to body people up. To me, that's exactly what you're looking for to guys make plays. Those are playmakers. And so, yeah, you know what? In the game, there's going to be drops. I mean, Justin Jefferson has several of them today. So the thing is, drops occur in every series of the game. It doesn't matter. But as far as their play, I think they did a pretty good job stepping up. And the thing was, because we didn't quite know what they were going to get, because everybody was worried about Kelsey coming back. Was he not going to be able to come back? They didn't quite know. But I think I put a tweet out there. It's like, okay, everybody just refocus. That's what it's all about. But I think a lot of it had to do with also, too, Patrick Mahomes played a much better job today. He had a much better game. He took what the defense gave him. He checked the ball down, threw the ball, got out of his hands quick. He did a much better job. And so what that does, it creates opportunities. It gets like the fast, quick game going. So that's all you ask. That's all you ask. Every time you're looking to throw something down the field, where these guys are still learning how to work in zone against man and get open to uncover, that's you can see the difference between Travis Kelce, how he handles it, and the younger guys. It's night and day. It's night and day. But because Travis has been playing with Patrick for so long, they're on the same page and wavelength. These younger guys are going to take some time to get there when it's, down the field, extended with your legs, now getting open. Because he still doesn't quite understand. We've seen that with MVS. MVS has only been there for 2 years. Stops running in the end zone, right, for the one ball. And Patrick's sitting there like, dude, it's a touchdown to you. Why would you stop running? And he really didn't say anything, but you can see the frustration in his eyes.
Yep. We have a question here before we get to you, Teja. There's a question here from our guy ARG and KC. Also, Micah, I know you were loving that Justin Ross stuff. One of our biggest Justin Ross guys on our channel. But JD, great question here. Are we spreading more because Mahomes played better today, or the wide receivers getting open? Did you see more separation more than you had in the last few weeks?
No, just like I said, man, I think it's a little bit of both, but it was definitely because Mahomes was playing better. He was spreading it out more because he was doing a much better job taking what the defense was giving him. And so when you make decisive decisions about what it is that you want to do with the football, get the ball out your hands quick, then it makes everything easier. It makes everything look clean. It makes it look guys like they're open, right? Because they are initially from the very start, but Patrick's got to be the one to facilitate that. He's got to make the throws.
Yeah. Teja, no. Draft show, pre-draft, talking with you. You were the biggest Rashid Rice guy. You told me about him. And I'm the college football guy between both of us, but you were all over Rashid Rice. And I was like, who's this Rashid Rice guy? You're like, dude, we got to get him. And then we draft him, and look, I'm sure you're loving it. But what did you think of spreading the ball around the way we have, and what did you make of some of the young guys stepping up today?
Before I get to the spreading around, we have to give credit to someone that's gotten a lot of crap from Kansas City media, certain Kansas City media, and even us on the show. It's Justin Watson. More than half the games, he's had like a big, maybe the biggest receiving play of the game.
Yeah.
And it happened again. Like that was a huge bailout. He's had a lot of bailout catches this season. I think we'd be slaying him if he was playing like shit. So I want to give him credit that he's, hitting it. He was, I see the catch, then I see that's him. I mean, to be honest, I'm not always. I'm excited. I'd be way more excited if it were like obviously Ross making that catch. But I'm like, you know what? Get it, Watson. Like, I don't give a crap who catches it. 85, 8, 6. I don't care who it is, man. Make the catch. So I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, hey, they keep putting him out there for a reason. He probably does this in practice all the time. Like he does it in games too. He's a gamer, man. I got to hand it to him. He's all effort. And he hits it. More notes I was taking during the game is just I think we just have to get used to it. It might take us longer because we were so spoiled by Tyreek Hill's individual output and statistics, watching that for years. We just have to get used to not having a guy at receiver. I'm starting to get more used to it. I look at the box score. I don't see a 7 catch or 160-yard guy anymore. And that's fine. Like I'm okay with that. Now the upsides are, and JD, correct me if I'm wrong, the main upside would be it's advantageous over the defense because the defense doesn't know who to zero in on. They don't know who's going to be our target. Who do we game plan for the most? Who's going to be the guy this week? I think you have to Sky Moore, you have to Rashee Rice. The disadvantage, I guess, would be when you're trying to bring along so many young guys, I think it'll just take longer to bring them all up to speed. Like they keep saying, wait till Rice gets up to speed. But the thing is, like Rice, it's not a normal situation where Rice is on a really bad team getting funneled targets by his rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like Tank Dell, for instance. Tank Dell's getting fed targets. He's going to be brought along faster. If Rice gets like 4 targets and 3 catches a game, sure, it's encouraging, but it's going to take him a lot longer to be to come up because he's not being relied upon, and that's fair. I like that for him to a certain degree because then he doesn't feel like he has to be our savior or be our Hill. There's a bunch of guys here who are high picks. Why do I have to be the next guy, right? So there's good and bad to it. Now, if Kelsey were to miss time or if he ever gets injured, and we've brushed by that twice at this point, then we might see more of an uptick in a certain guy asserting himself and being that guy, right? But as it stands right now, we just have a lot of guys. Next time I'm in Vegas, I've looked in sports books. I can't find this anywhere. But next time I'm in Vegas, I'm going to look and see if there's a bet where you can take like 5 guys to catch like 2 balls. Because I would love to do that with our team because we have so many guys that catch a couple balls and it's awesome. And they're very bankable guys. But yeah, it's not as fun when you want a guy to blow up. But I like the overall anyone can do it at any time thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you have things like that, that's why I wasn't really worried about when Kelsey was supposedly not going to be able to come back, is because we do have capable guys. And I'm a huge Tank Dell guy. I was one Tank Dell coming out. I really was because he fits our scheme. He's exactly what we need in our offense, and that's why Rashee Rice to me was a bigger receiver. And I was like, okay, are we going to utilize a big body like this, a guy that has this type of skill set? And so what I do like about it is when a guy like this keeps showing up, then you do feed him, then you reward him. It's the same thing with Justin Watson. He's making big plays, man. He's balling out of control, man. I stood up I got up as soon as he made that call. I said, man, somebody decided to come out here to play today. And Justin Watson said, why not be me? So the reason he's getting the plays is because he's consistent in some of the things that he does. They trust him. And that's how it is. It works with Andy and all the coaching staff. Is they're going to let guys play that they trust, that they feel like is consistent. And so Justin Watson, people love him or hate him. I don't care how it is. If the guys out there making plays, add a boy to me, right? Yeah. Pure and simple. So look, I'm always rooting for everybody who's out there on the squad. I don't care if you're the first or the 8th guy or the 7th receiver. That's how we have, right? I don't care who it is, because we learned this from last year. And like you said, just because we don't have Tyreek Hill and because of his volume, we seen what it was going to look like last year when he had MVS and Juju and all those different guys, and he was going to pepper around to different people. And so the thing is, really, it's all about PM15. That's what it's all about. Guys just had to get open. They had to just do their job and let 15 get the ball to you. That's what it's all about to me. And Noah Gray comes in. He does a great job. He'll run certain routes, that Kelsey is going to be able to do. But we know Kelsey and PM15 have a very special rapport. But the thing is, PM15 could get those guys better by the things that he does with his legs and with his arms. That one throw to Rashid Rice was on point. It was perfect. It was like a perfect ball. I remember they did the replay. I'm like, man, can you get a prettier ball than that? I mean, the one he threw to Justin Ross, same one, is just right there in the chest. You know, it's like, dude, just catch the football. That's all you had to do. Pat's going to give you something that you can catch. You just have to be able to do it. Just keep performing. But
I love that fake screen where he kind of did a fake to Kelsey and then looked off, and then him and Kelsey ran together. That was like my favorite play of the day, I think.
That was sweet.
That was so great.
And them two right there, just making a play, man. They're making a play. So that to me is what what brings so much to the table when Kelsey is in there, right? And not only that, because I want to bring this point up too, because his presence alone coming back at halftime, where guys have seen him, and I'm just telling you from a player standpoint, when you have your guy, your baller that everybody looks to lead, to make plays, it's important for those young guys to see that guy make that type of sacrifice that he made, right? Getting hurt and coming back in. And if everybody's not sitting there saying, man, he's a tough son of a gun, why am I not doing that? How come I'm not doing my job? Then I don't know what else it's going to take to get guys going. I just don't. Because him alone, just being on the sidelines, even thinking about he's coming in, like guys in their mind, they're thinking like, this is the warrior that everybody's been looking for, that we got to get his back. We have got to be that guy. We have to. We got to pull our own weight. That was so vital at halftime when them coming out at the half. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. If Travis Kelce doesn't come back out there, he doesn't show up, I don't know if we win this game or not, to be honest with you. I mean, the morale of what that shows and what it signifies is huge. I'm telling you, man, just for a player standpoint, it is absolutely huge.
That's what they mean when they say 70 or 80% of some guys are better than 100% of other guys.
Yeah, that's part of it. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Do you think, obviously, he was, they show the clips of him trying to run back on the field and like, no, come back over here. Do you think they made it a point to pepper him with targets second half? I mean, right away, he came back in the game. It was target. Again, he led the team in catches and targets today. I mean, he usually does. But, like, it felt like there was more of, like, an emphasis, like, yo, we're going to get Kelsey the ball. Whereas in the first 4 games of the season, you hadn't really seen a big-time emphasis of get Kelsey the ball. It seemed like when he came back from the second half, they just were force-feeding him the ball, JD.
Well, you can't pretend that he's okay if you don't show it. And so him coming out, running on the sideline and running out there like he did, okay, fine. If you're okay, we're going to just make sure. Let you get your legs back where you need to, right? Let's let the medicine work the way it should, okay? Let that all happen the way it should, all right? Get back out here. Let's throw the football to you. So I'm sure, maybe the vitamin T might have got, I don't know, might have had a shaman in there doing a Mr. Miyagi on the leg or something, man. But whatever it was, you got to make sure you do get him involved, because it shows the defense too that you didn't destroy this guy. He looked like he was hurt. Hey, guess what? He came back. Justin Jefferson didn't. You see what he did to them too, right? I mean, they were like, oh, okay, well, shoot, now we got to rely on these guys, right? And rightfully so, man. It just, when your star is out of the game, man, that is tough. That is tough just to hurt your confidence. When you see that, think about it. How many movies do we see, okay, that the old warrior, the hero, and you think he's dead, right? And he's just hurt. And all of a sudden you see him stand up on his sword. And you just know, like, this sucker's giving everything, okay? And all he does is he just motivates everybody else to come out there and just give it their all. I mean, that's what it was for today, Travis Kelce. That's what he's bringing to the team. That's what he's showing these young guys, how to be a professional, what it means to play when you're hurt. All those good things, man. That's what football's all about. Football's all about that. I just, I kind of thought it was funny because when I heard the commentator say certain things like that, I'm like, dude, there's plenty of guys that do that. And I don't know if the young dudes do that, but in my day and age, guys are going to have with broken legs and stuff like that. It didn't matter. So those are the guys that are that you talk of old. That's guys that you have stories about, right? Mm-hmm. So bravo.
It reminded me of JD talking about like old movies and stuff. Kurt Russell, Best of Times. Remember they're getting they redo the state championship game. They're getting their asses kicked in the first half of the game. Then second half comes. He hasn't come out for a while. Then he comes out with the old white cleats that he used to have on back in his prime. They come out and they end up winning the game. That was Kelsey coming back out with the tape with his ankle all spattered up.
Yeah.
A couple thoughts on what you said too. They need to do something about that turf. Because I mean, I don't know how Jefferson's gone this long without having that same injury. 2 in 1 game, very similar of like the same type of ankle, like little ankle clip like that. Dangerous. It shows how tough he is. My other thought was it was nice. I mean, as a Vikings fan, I'd be happy about the way Addison and Osborne stepped up in his absence, and even for a little bit, Hawkinson was out too. Again, it goes back to in a situation where your main target hog is out, your other guys, got to start to learn how to become, step up and take some more responsibility. It's like giving your kid allowance, right? You give your kid allowance, or you're supposed to, right? I'm not a parent. JD, you are, so you can tell me. When you start giving your kid allowance, it's to teach him some responsibility with money, to teach him how to budget. But they're not going to do much with a buck. You give them a quarter, how are they going to budget that? You have to give them something that's worth budgeting, right? So they can't do much with 2 targets a game. You have to give them like 5 or 6 a game. Then they can do something with it. You're like, okay, now he deserves more. Now let's give him like $20 a month. Well, let's give him like, $100 a month. No, not really, but that's too much.
Well, the difference is because, when Addison, in his draft pick where he was at, we know he's a pretty good receiver. We know he's a good receiver. And so to me, it makes sense that you was going to pepper him. When I'm looking at the targets, the first few games, he had 6 the first 5, 8, 1 and did 9 tonight. So that's not uncommon for a guy who's a first-round pick as a wide receiver. He's probably one of the best ones in the business, right? So at least coming out of college, he was. So, but yeah, no, it's good to know that you do have guys that can fill in when your star is down, right? So, but yeah, but they still. Them suckers are still 1-4. So I know you say bravo. Them suckers is that they got to find something. They want to find something to hang on to right now, man. Because it's looking mighty bleak up there in Minnesota. Mighty bleak.
Hey, if the Jets keep winning, you might see the Kirk Cousins rumors still that they're still floating out there. If the Jets keep winning, they're in contention. And I don't believe this whole Aaron Rodgers is going to come back from the Achilles injury. He's going to be the first person to come back in a couple months from an Achilles injury. No, but I mean, Kirk Cousins could be something if they continue to lose and Jets continue to win. But talk about the targets, just looking at it again and the catches. This will be the 5th game of the season where MVS had 2 catches or less. He had 1 catch for 12 yards in this one. Sky Moore 2 for 11, combining for 3 for 23. Where our young bucks, Rice and Ross, combined for 6 for 61. And these are guys. Rice and Ross, obviously, their first years of getting actually game time action. One's a rookie, one's a second-year guy. But JD saw some people because there is an anti-Justin Ross sentiment online. I know people shouldn't be rooting against players, especially on our team, but there is an anti-Ross sentiment. I think I saw someone say drop 2 targets. He's gonna be in Andy's doghouse. He's gonna be on the sidelines. We probably won't be seeing much of him next week. What do you think about that, JD? We talk about having grace for some of these young guys who are starting to get their bearings in the league. But what do you make when you hear that kind of stuff?
Man, people will fight and scratch and crawl for everything to be right. That's all that is. And that's it. You want to be right on the guy. Okay? And they will defend it till they're deaf. And nobody's going to be like, yeah, I was wrong. And a whole lot of people in the world is going to be able to do that, especially now. They don't want to admit those things. Right? So, look, like you said, you're supposed to root a guy on because he plays for the Chiefs. I don't care if he did drop 2. The guy came in and performed today. And if you want to get on some people, you could talk about, MVS and all those other things if you want to. But to be honest with you, I always want to encourage. Like, I want to encourage MVS, dude, like, you got to do a much better job, period. Okay? Young guys like Ross and Rice, those guys, I'm expecting mistakes. I'm expecting them to still grow. That's part of the whole process, right? And so I don't worry about that, man. People gonna have something to say regardless. It don't matter. It's always like that.
There's nobody in the room is going to in our receiver room is going to high point a ball the way Justin Ross did. I mean, that's one of specialties. He brings something that other guys in the room don't have, and that's that catch is so pretty. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.